Hey, sports card fans, welcome back to another episode of Two Guys, One Hobby. How you doing, Don?
I am doing great, John. How about you?
Really good. Just
Good.
recently said goodbye to my son. He headed off to basic training in the Army. He's being stationed at Fort. Um, oh, I had it now. Fort Littlewood in Missouri for his basic, and then his what do I call it? I think a AIT, the
That is
advanced
correct.
training,
That'll
would
be
also be
after.
yeah.
And the reason I know this, my daughter went through it 3 years ago, and actually, I've been meaning to give you a call and see how it's going. But
Yep.
yeah, it was funny because my daughter was originally supposed to go there. Then they were gonna take her to Fort Benning, I think, in Georgia, and then they ended up taking her to Fort Sill in Oklahoma.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, she calls it Fort Backwoods or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Fort Hole in the Woods or something like that.
Yeah, something like
It's
that. I guess it's in the
yeah.
woods,
When I
but
when I posted something on social media, I got a bunch of people say, "Oh yeah, Fort Hole in the Woods or back in
yeah.
back." I'm like, okay, so it has a
Has he
well-known
been able to
nickname.
call you yet?
Yes. In fact, it was on Monday. I got
Yeah.
a text from him, basically saying, "Hey, I've settled." And he was just in the I think today maybe he started basic, so he was in uh, I forget the not registration, but the initial setup,
Yeah, I don't know
and
what to
just
call
had
it,
a
but
couple texts back and forth, and then he didn't reply. So I'm like, okay, yep, he had his
well,
couple
they take
minutes.
their phones away from them,
Yeah. So
and
I
and
thought,
they
hey,
give them
at least
back.
he,
Like if they don't get in trouble that week or screw up, that's like their treat. They get to call home,
yeah.
and like
And
my
then,
wife and I would just sit there on Sunday nights or Mondays, like, come on, let's call. And
yeah,
fortunately, she got the call every week. So,
yeah,
and most of the time she was good. Halfway through, she broke down on one of the calls, but after that, she's been great, and she loves it now.
yeah.
So,
Well, he
but
ended up
people,
about 5 minutes later. He called.
yeah,
He had a few times, and so we had just a brief little chat. He said, "Hey, I gotta go," and he said he so far he likes the food, which he was a little surprised that he would actually
wow,
like it. But then I said, "So, how are things going?" He goes, "Oh," he says, "Dad," he says, "I'm getting sort of like already pissed off at some of the other recruits because they don't listen, and then everyone gets punished." I'm like,
yep,
it's going to
that
happen,
happens a
and
lot.
you'll get those people in shape, and they'll because
Yeah, and if they don't, they send them home.
yeah, yep.
So, but
So
enough
yeah,
of that. I don't think people are on here to hear about our kids being in the
no,
service. But
nope, nope.
so this guest, I believe I met him in Strongsville last year for the first time. And what was great about this particular guest, I can look him eye to eye. One of the few guys, I think outside of maybe George Diamond Yard Sports Cards, I think we may be the three tallest guys in the hobby.
Yep.
And one of the nicest guys you'll meet in the hobby, and he's all over the place with his own channel and four collectors. And so let's bring on Sammy Thunder.
I
Hey, welcome.
I forgot about that. Man,
Yeah,
that was like the the autograph book.
that's right.
Well, you got the four horsemen. You've got Bob Lewis, so you got
Yeah, but he's not in our league.
yeah,
Are we
yeah.
talking
But
about
I'm just
height?
thinking of like
Yeah,
If we're
tall
talking about
drinking
height, I
waters.
have the perfect person as like because I think he's even taller than all of us. Perhaps he
Yeah.
who's
might be
that?
actually your height, Don. It's why am I don't know why I'm slipping. Al, iconic
Oh, yeah,
Al,
yeah.
Oh
I forgot
yes.
about him. Yep.
iconic, and also Mike Junkwax Hero. He's also up there in height.
I've never met him in
Yeah.
person. So,
Mike Moynihan, he's pretty tall too.
yeah.
Yep.
But
Rick Vintage all ball cards.
It's
Not as tall
well,
though, but
well, John,
that's
everyone's tall compared to you. I mean,
but
you're
that's what I was gonna
stretching it
say.
now.
When I'm gonna be so disappointed that Dylan and
Jake.
Jake.
Adam Vintage Sanctuary aren't gonna be at Strongsville because all I'm gonna do is get a neck cramp the entire time because I'm gonna be going like this. And,
Well, Christopher Missouri's your height, so you'll be all right with him.
yeah. But no, they're some, but it's just like, man, I'm in the wrong hobby because
Yeah, I'm trying because I know Jake is not able to make it this. I don't think he went last year, but
I don't think
uh,
Jake's ever been to Strongsville.
no.
yeah.
But he had his kid, and so he's celebrating with his new kid. So
Yeah, he's got two little ones, so
Mhm.
it's tough for him.
But yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. With Chris's event and then the Four Collectors trade night event, there's just a lot happening, and I think I'm anticipating, like last year. You had a lot of people, but I think honestly this year it's going to be a lot more. I just have a feeling.
Yeah.
You mean YouTubers or just crowd in general?
No, just in general. I think there's just going to be a lot more people. I think the last year of it being moved to the ice arena was a big stepping stone, and you had a lot of people, nice turnout. But I think this year, because maybe partially the hype that surrounds around the YouTube community that just talk about it.
Right.
Yeah. I
Since
just get a
last
feeling.
year and all the videos that have been done, it just builds more awareness. Where honestly, I didn't know before Chris brought this up, maybe the year before last year to try to plan everything. I never heard of the Strongsville show.
Yeah, the
Neither have
first year
I.
I went up, as far as YouTubers go, it was myself. I picked up Dean. I collect everything. He lives here in Pittsburgh. We drove up, met up with Scott. There was Andrew Nuffsaid Cards and Josh Stottlemyre. I think that was it, as far as I can think of. I mean, maybe there was someone else there, but and then the next year Chris came up and Mike. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? Mike Canadian Cards and Steven came down.
Yeah, they're driving again together this year.
Yeah,
that's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then when Chris made the video last year, he got a bunch of you guys there.
Yep.
And, so you two had never saw it when it was in the hotel, correct?
No.
Okay.
So I assume you have though.
I have, yeah. The first 2 years I went, so this will be my 4th year.
So I've never gotten it. Well, I should have asked Stan this because he set up as a dealer when he was in the hotel, and it would have been a great question to ask him. But now I'm kicking myself not asking. But I can ask you. What would you say were the biggest differences? I mean, obviously besides the size, did you feel as though was there just?
Well, I know, for example, Rick and Holly are dealers?
Was it Greg?
Yes, he was the one
Greg.
year. It was his first year at Strongsville, and he was really squished in, because he was new and he couldn't bring all his cards. And so I don't know if there's more dealers, and maybe there are, but I think they have the availability to spread out more. And, I know you said obviously besides the size, but it is much nicer. There's more room to walk around.
Yeah.
And when they have more tables, there's not all of us hunching over the one table trying to get in there.
Yeah, that's true. There was definitely when we were walking around last year, and this kind of goes back to being tall. I'd be able to see. Oh, there's Don. There's I don't know if Al was there last year, but anybody of who was tall, it was great because you could say, "Oh, have you seen Sammy? Oh yeah, he's over there."
Right.
So,
well, I was laughing. Someone sent me a screenshot of the ad. John and I are actually on the Strongsville website. You can see us looking at cards.
Oh, that's sick.
I'm like, that's hilarious. But yeah, it's very easy to find people, and it's very easy to, when they say at the National, if you don't write down that table, you'll never find it again. Although I've never really felt that way, but it's just.
But with the National, I mean, it's because it's so large that I could walk around for an hour at least and not really bump into someone that I really know. I mean, because you tend to congregate in little groups, but if those groups are so spread out, you could be walking around. But at Strongsville, I mean, you're in that sort of like loop, and you're always passing by people that
and I like it too that it's really just cards. At the National, you've got all these huge vendors that aren't cards. You've got the auction houses, which I think they might be there at Strongsville as well.
Some of them will.
All the other stuff that's there that I have no interest in.
There was one table that had sort of like signs and old uniforms. There was one I recall, but yeah, it's almost 100% just cards and vintage, and that's what I really like.
Yeah, for me the distinction is with Strongsville, after a day, I was relaxed enough to knowing that the next day was it just felt like it was a lot more relaxing. Not as I didn't feel exhausted or burnt out. I mean, the Cleveland National, I just like Jake. It was myself, Jake, Drew, and Dom, and Jake did a lot of the driving, and I know for a fact. I mean, that must have burned him out so bad, so much.
Yeah, Scott
And
was the
so,
same way. Reindeer Studios at our house. He was taking people to the airport, and
yeah,
and the beauty of it is, first of all, the parking's easy. It's not like
Yeah.
the National. It's all right there. You just
yeah,
walk out of
that's
the
that's
hotel and you
the key.
walk over to the show, and just up the road are all kinds of restaurants.
Hmm.
It was easy to get in and eat. And
Yeah, I just remember like I'll get to the show at, let's say it opens. I don't know what time it opens. Let's say 9 o'clock, or let's say 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock it opens up, and then by like I don't know 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'm ready to take a break and go to lunch and not
right.
feel like I'm missing out
Yeah.
on something.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Because within that, I mean, I'm assuming all of you are going to be there for the Friday.
Yeah,
I'm getting in
Yep.
Friday morning.
Okay, I'm getting in Thursday night. So, was it 4 to 9 on Friday or something like that? It's like a
Something like that.
shortened time frame. I mean, even in those say 4 hours or so, you can clearly walk around and see at least see quickly what all the dealers have. I
Oh,
mean,
without a doubt.
yeah. So you at least even the first day you can just easily get a lay of the land, know maybe what you want to go back. You can maybe spot a card or two or whatever, and it's all contained as opposed to the National. It's like in 4 hours, okay, I hit this one corner. Now I still got all this others to go.
yeah.
So
I think it's. I was just checking the hours now. It's Friday is 2 to 7, unless you have the VIP, which I assume everyone here is getting
yep,
VIP.
yep.
It is at 12, and then VIP entry for Saturday and Sundays at 9:30.
Okay.
The Ford Collectors Group, we were able to get media passes for the event just because we're going to be documenting it. We kind of formed. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a full on like a partnership with the Strongsville, but I mean we're working with them because they're supporting our trade night, and in return, we're just doing whatever we can to kind of help promote
Right.
the event through our videos.
Yeah.
So
Sam, I had a question about trade nights because I've never really gone to them. Is it purely people trading, or can people just bring cards and sell them?
yeah,
Is
I
that
think
just the term trade night?
yeah, I guess the trade night I think is just kind of like the focal point of it. But I mean, if somebody says like, hey, I'll give you so and so amount for this card if you're selling it, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a problem if you find someone who wants to buy a card.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
according to Mike Moynihan, it's like I'll trade my dollars for your card. I mean,
Well,
it's
I'm going to bring some
trading.
cards as well, and I was just wondering. I'm like, is that
yeah,
an
you had
okay
some
place?
stuff
Yeah.
last year, man. Like, you had people, including myself. We were going into that pile, man. You had some
Yeah.
good stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I may actually bring a few cards out and just see. I'm not dead set against trading them, but because they're not duplicates,
Mhm.
but they're ones that are either in a Beckett slab that I was going to be potentially spending money to flip over to PSA because I just want all mine PSA. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be some money to just convert them over. And if I can get something in trade, and I can always rebuy that card, I'm actually giving myself an opportunity, and we'll see. I may not do anything, but at least I'll have the cards there and won't regret saying, "Oh well, I wish I would have brought some stuff out." It's not going to be a whole lot, but
Yeah, no, I
I'll
mean
test the
it's
waters. I'll see. I've never traded really
yeah.
before,
I
so
think it's for to me to the whole the trading is great for somebody that has a very big want list of stuff. Um, it's tougher for somebody who's very like very slim focused on certain things, but you never know. That's the
Like
beauty
Wade Boggs.
yeah.
of it.
Well,
well, I
but if you do find that one card
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And you have, okay, well, I don't have the cash for that one card, but I'm willing to part with these 8 cards
Right.
to get for that big one, which is what Eric Those Back Pages did with what the mantle.
Yep.
I think it was the mantle, right? At
It
the
was. It
last
was
year's
the
national.
52 mantle.
Yeah. So, yeah, you could be singly focused, or for me, I may be willing to give up a card that I know eventually I may have to buy back someday. But if I can get another card that I want in exchange, I see maybe no difference than having the one card still and then getting the other. I mean, I'd still have to get one card if it's, assuming the 1-for-1 trade, which, So I'm actually gonna maybe get out of my comfort zone and see. I'll walk around, see. I don't know how to begin, but all that I'll sure
Well,
I'll pick up
we'll
and
have
see what other
tables.
people
We're
are
gonna have
doing.
tables set up, and for anybody that has a kind of a larger, I wouldn't call it inventory, but a larger number of cards that want to have a kind of a dedicated space, they just have to reach out to myself or John or Theo or Dan, and beforehand, and we'll be able to kind of give anybody access to the room before the event starts. So if they want to come by at like 5 o'clock or something like that, because the event starts at 6 that Saturday, they can kind of get a little extra time to set up. So yeah, Don, I don't know how many you're going to bring with you, or
Yeah, I was
John,
gonna
how many
say
you're going to
off
bring.
camera here, I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So
But yeah, and if you're bringing, if it really doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're bringing 5 cards or 100 cards or however much. I mean, the
right.
goal is for everybody to kind of just uh, you know see what opportunities can be
Yeah, it's a
made
great
from.
idea.
Yeah, and we create a great partnership with with the Strongsville crew, with the Strongsville group, and all we have SGC, Love of the Game, and Howard from a few of my favorite things. So
Yeah, I've been really impressed, the guests that you guys are getting on your channel and your connections that you're meeting for the show. It's been really cool to see you guys growing, and it's we just do YouTubers, and that's fine. That's our
Yeah.
lane. We stay in it,
yeah,
But it's cool getting some of the people you see, even like Theo. I don't know if it was on his own channel or for collectors, but he had the owner of the Clemente Museum,
yeah.
and, and that place is awesome. I've been there 3 times, and it was just cool to see that. But I did have a question, Sammy.
Sure.
I know a lot of people in the YouTube community, as you both do, and so I've got my people out there finding me stuff. And John, can you just put the screen on me here for a second? I got something I
Yeah.
want to share here. I can't reveal my sources, but this was shared with me,
Oh man.
and I want to hear the story behind this. I rumor has it you were a rock star in your prior life.
What is that?
Oh man, I didn't think those. You know what? I curse myself for bringing that up in a vintage chillin' shot that I did I don't know, this must have been 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
All right.
someone texted it to me. They're like, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "I think it looks like Sammy Thunder."
So I lived in New Orleans for 4.5 years
Oh, did
before
you?
I,
Okay.
yeah, so that's during my time in New Orleans. Um, so the white lab coat I picked up at I don't know if it was a costume shop or some sort of uniform shop.
Right.
So, and the wig was from this costume shop around the corner from my apartment that I lived in. And it was I was part of a Mardi Gras crew called the Crew of Chewbacca's, which is like a sci-fi parade. And you
Okay.
have people dressed up as like people from Star Wars and so forth. So my thing was dressing up as Doc Brown in a way, like kind of that style.
A play on it.
Yeah. So now the keyboard has a different meaning, but the name that I gave myself for that parade was Dr. Man Machine, and the Man Machine is in reference to a band called Kraftwerk. I don't know if you've ever listened to them, but Kraftwerk was a
I just
German.
heard about them for the first time 2 weeks ago. My boss like, "I'm going to see Kraftwerk in concert." And I'm like, "Who?"
Yeah, they're like German pioneers in electronic music from the early '70s. So that was in reference to them, and the whole costume was Doctor Man Machine, and the written on there is a thing called the sub crew that I was in called Specs, which is my buddy's sub crew that we were in was called Spare Parts Express, which is what he calls a bunch of space pirates working on machinery. It really goes out there. And the reason why for the keyboard, I am outside of collecting cards. I'm a musician. I collect 80s synthesizers, drum machines, and that's another form of collecting and a hobby for me that I haven't dabbled in for years, but I have some good stuff that I've.
So, are you a keyboard player? Is that your main instrument?
I'm not trained, but I've done it for the past 15 years or so. So
Okay.
I've gotten to understand how to program and patch certain things.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, Ray from Philly used to be in a band. If you
Really?
go to his earliest videos,
Yeah.
got the long hair down to here, and he's playing
I can
electric
see it.
guitar. So he just said it just got old after a while. The late nights as he got older and setting up and tearing down. But
Well, so was he like a one of the lead singers, or did he play an instrument? You know?
he was electric guitar. I don't know if he sang or not, to be honest
Okay.
with you.
All right. Well, a coworker of mine at work, I have no musical talent whatsoever, but one of the guys in our IT department, he's guitarist in like a cover band. They'll play 80s,
Right.
90s music and stuff like that around county fairs and other venues that they'll play. So yeah, he's in a band. It's like a 4 or 5 member band. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
But-
are any of you looking to pick anything up at Strongsville? Anything that you're just targeting, or just general window shopping, or?
So I am working on a deal. Hopefully something will transpire prior to Strongsville. I don't know if it will or not. I can't really talk too much about it right now because I'm at the infancy stages of it.
Mhm.
Really haven't even started the process yet. And maybe by the time this video is published, maybe something happens, but we'll see. But outside of that, like if it falls through or something doesn't happen, then I keep telling everybody, and I keep failing at it, that I'm focusing on Christy Mathewson stuff, and Willie Mays stuff keeps populating. So
Yeah.
it just doesn't stop. So that's really postcards is what I really like from Mathewson stuff, and I plan on making a video prior to the show. I'll definitely get around to showcasing my list, which I'm sure is going to be a popular theme the week of.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean,
Well,
I'm always looking for unique Stan stuff. There just aren't many cards out there, and the ones I don't have are way out of my price range, and they're very rare.
Have you considered? I don't know if you have one. Do you have the Propaganda Montiel?
No.
Stan? No.
So that's one of the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And there's a couple food issues out there, but
Yeah.
I'm mainly going just to see everyone, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's only a 2-hour drive for me, and I'm actually
perfect.
Rocket Rick and Scott Reindeer Studios are coming to Pittsburgh, not this Friday, next Friday, and we're going to the home opener together.
Oh, that's fun.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. So Don, beyond like Stan Musial, are there any other? I know at this stage right now, you're not really looking to grow your collection. You've pared down a little bit at different things, but is there any other player besides Musial that you could see, picking a card up or something, maybe a Pittsburgh Pirate or any like
I mean, Clemente is my other guy, being from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And so I always look at his unique stuff as well. So those are my 2 main guys.
Yeah.
And then Negro League. I love the Negro League. So if I find anything in particular that's unique there.
Do you have? I'm sure you have some Negro League cards now, right? Or in your collection?
Not really. I have cards, but they're not. I have guys that have regular Topps cards or Bowman cards that played in the Negro Leagues, but not. I don't even know how much it's out there, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're I know like Orlando kind of like is a someone who specializes in a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Like he always points it out. So like Ray Dandridge, or
Yeah.
I've always wondered about like players like Oscar Charleston. I mean, Josh Gibson, obviously his cards, what was it, like 1950? I mean, it's post playing, I think, but like there's like somebody bought there's a Josh Gibson card. I think it's I don't know if it's Cuban card or something, but it's sold for like almost six figures, if not six.
Yeah, that thing's very rare. I mean, you can find things like this. This is Buck Leonard.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
you know.
Yeah.
So
His autograph, I love it because it's very it's a little it's a little sloppy, but it's
yeah, you can tell he was getting
Yeah.
up there in age.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, I don't have I have stuff from my general list, which is fairly broad, which is nice because it gives me a lot of choices. But I if I have to say I'm targeting anything, I would love to be able to pick up at least one or two more errands that I need for my run. I'm missing is 57, 60, and 63. And if I could get one or two of them, and then at the national, if I'm able to find the perfect rookie and in my budget and all that stuff, and then I maybe need just one more, I can. There's a outside chance that after the national, I can have my Hank Aaron run complete.
you
If it
just
doesn't
need those
happen,
three.
what?
You only need those three, and you'll be
Those
done.
three and his rookie, and then the 57, 60, and 63.
Okay.
Yep.
You should
Now,
talk to Matt from the card story, see if he has any dupes.
now
Yeah.
one of them though, I have. Where is it here? I don't know if I'll. But what is it? This is 65.
You gonna get this one, John?
Oh, the stand up.
Yeah, that's now. Here's one that I don't think I'm going to bring to trade because it's just too nice. But it's one I want to get crossed over. Let me get the solo here. It's the 65.
Yeah, I love the 65.
But it's in a. I mean, it's a nice.
Yeah, that is.
The
really
lighting
nice.
here is terrible, but that's one that I'll just myself off stage there. There we go.
Okay.
So yeah, that this is one I'm not going to probably look to trade. I'm going to cross over. That's the only one that's not in a PSA slab, but I technically have the card and I'll have the run. Beyond that, if I can't find any of those three errands, I probably have 100 cards between my 200 card lists that I still would need, and so who knows? I'm just, if something catches my eye, I'm not bringing a whole lot of money out, but obviously where I'm at in my collection, there's always something there that I don't have. So that's the nice thing. I can go into a show like Strongsville, and if I don't see maybe a couple cards that I'm looking for, there's plenty of others that I would love to have in my collection. And who knows? I may see a card that I'm like, wow, that's cool, and I'll get it.
This is why I think trade night's going to work out really well for you, John, because you're going to have a lot of people having those sort of cards ready to move.
Yeah.
And so if you don't find it at the show, the trade night's great because you'll be able to move stuff that you're ready to move on from, and not have to dig deep in your pockets to do that. Yeah. Perhaps. I mean, you could probably do a little bit of both, which
even if it's trade plus cash or something like a combo thing or whatever. I think the one downside is most of the cards, and again, they may only be like 5 or 6 I'm taking out, so it's nothing big. But I think probably all but one of them are going to be in Beckett slabs, and so I have a feeling from the other side of the transaction they're going to say, I don't.
You never know.
I'm not going to get much in terms of trade value. That's what I'm anticipating.
You never know. I mean, I understand what you're saying there, because the perspective is obviously the Beckett slab kind of hinders the card, but if the person that on the other side of the transaction sees just the card and not the slab, and they see that, hey, this card, it's because then they'll just do the same thing that you would have done, which is either crack it or cross it over. to kind of maximize potentially their value on it, especially if they're looking to move it. But yeah, there's opportunity there, so you never know.
Well, I'm going to go through. In fact, that there's one that's already in a PSA slab that it's. I won't show it on here because of the lighting and stuff. But it's my, believe it or not, it's my. If I can find it here now, I had it.
So speaking of shows, while you're looking for that, are either one of you thinking about going to the Pittsburgh show in May?
No, it's
the
a little
mainline
tall
show.
for me.
Honestly,
I would. John a couple years ago with me.
I would love to, but the problem is I probably would have had to plan it in terms of saving up, because all it would do, it would, now again, 6 of one, half dozen another. I would have to take some of my national budget, but then okay, well, whether I buy a card at the Pittsburgh show versus national, I mean, I don't,
Well,
so,
out of the three,
theory,
if I could only go to two, I would go to the two you're going to, Strongsville and the national. But I mean, it's in my backyard, so
yeah. And it was a nice show. I really enjoyed going to that show. But yeah, the card I was looking for here is, I may actually bring out my 57 Frank Robinson rookie, only because, and it's in a, well, the number grade is a 5, but if you look at it here, and hopefully I won't screw this up again, if you notice, it is off center, left to right. And you can see a little bit better there. And it's one of those cards where every time I look at it, I notice it's off center.
And that might be someone looking for that card that has the 57 Aaron. I mean, you never know.
So I'll bring it. I mean, because I don't need a 5. I'm sure I can find a nice looking 4 out there. But it would mean that I would then have to go out and repurchase. But these are out there. This isn't a rare card.
And you'll have that opportunity again and again. So
So, and it's not like, well, I've completed the run and then I have to rebuy it. I still have several Frank Robinson cards that I need to buy. So, that may be one that I bring out and just test the water and see.
I just made this upgrade the other day. A viewer of my channel reached out to me by email, told me that he had this card, and I think he was asking me if I was interested or if he knew anybody that was interested in it. And so I decided to upgrade, and I sold the one that I had to another viewer of the channel. And of course, it's the Fleer 1991 Willie. No, it's the Transagram 69. Scott,
like what?
Scott's the one that makes fun of it. He calls this the Fleer 1991 set. But
I actually called him on that on a video once because I thought he was being serious, and I was like, "Oh, I finally caught you making a mistake." And he's like, "I was just messing around."
Now, again, not that. That's a great looking card, absolutely great. In fact, I know it's hand cut, and probably you were probably just excited just that it actually got a number grade. But I noticed, do you think it got the 3 because on the right-hand side, it looks like it wasn't sort of straight cut?
I'm not sure. I mean, the one that I had had a wrinkle on the top, so that was part of the reason why I wanted to upgrade. And I mean, that's the thing about it. This is the whole debate on these cards. I was on the train with John, and when me and Ginny came to visit New York, and we were going to the East Coast National and White Plains that they have. And we had a whole discussion about hand cut cards, and his whole thing, if I'm paraphrasing here, but his whole thing was, they really should either just give them all number grades or just give them all authentics. I'm more on the side of it just being all authentic because, it's not the factory that's cutting it, it's the person that's cutting it. And at that point, it's more just like, okay, I can judge how good of a job they did and put a value on that if it's one, because this authentic is going to look better than that one. And so, I mean, for this being a number grade, it was, I mean, listen, it's nice, but I bought it more for the fact that I thought the cut looked better. And
the eye appeal looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it looks
It's
fantastic.
beautiful.
I was actually going to show. This is the actual transogram of Mays.
Oh,
Let
that's
me
cool.
get you here. Yeah.
So this is one I bought from Howard at the Philly show, and on the back it has a very clean.
So yeah.
That is great.
I
And
was,
that box is in great shape.
So
I was
how do you display it? Do you display it with the card showing or the player?
so I need a proper display. Right now I have it in kind of a giant case with a Doc Gooden sculptures autograph that I had him autographed, and also I just recently picked up the Milk Duds box.
Oh,
damn,
cool.
I've been
That's
buying a lot
nice.
of Maze stuff. It's
Yeah.
really it's a bit of a problem lately. But
Speaking of Maze,
we
is
can
there
Maze
anything on your want list or wish list that,
like
that you're
that.
looking
That's a Maze.
for Willie Mays?
There always is. It's too expensive, but the Briggs meat would be great.
Yeah.
I know John has one, and I believe Rick has one as well. There's that one. As far as I mean, the Topps dice game is impossible. Nobody, it's just um, impossible to find them. And there's only one of these cards that I've ever seen a copy of. It's a Dominican Republic's 1966 card, like a strip card of Willie Mays, and it's spelled Willy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but the card is creased to hell, and but there's only one has ever been graded, and that one is from PSA, and it's an authentic. But it was sold in 2018, and Rick claims that he's seen them seen raw ones before. So the metal gold would be great too. I know Rick has one, but at this point now, I mean, I've purchased so much Maze stuff. I got to really put a stop to it.
Well, you probably have found most of the stuff. Yeah, I want to get the Museo, the Star Cow.
You want to find that one?
Yeah,
That's a
they're
good
around.
one. Yeah, this one solidifies my 52 rare and unique and rarities Maze stuff. So all my 52s are pretty much.
Yeah, that Coca-Cola and your Hires root beer, I just love those.
And then this one I got at the Philly show as well, the Bobby Thompson. This is in honor of my grandfather because he grew up a Bobby Thompson fan, and that was his favorite player. And so, yeah, I could have gotten the Bowman or a Topps, but I really wanted to find the Coca-Cola of one of him hitting because there's one of him hitting and there's one of him fielding at third base. And I'm like, there's no way I can get the one where him fielding.
Weren't you talking about that on Alex's live stream one night? I think you were looking this up.
I must have, yeah. I might have
I
brought that up.
recall you saying that about your grandfather.
Yeah.
Very cool. Are you from New York City originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of explains the Seaver and Mays love. How does Christy Mathewson fit into that?
It's not
like
really
them?
directly. I mean, my great grandfather lived in Brooklyn, and as a kid, he would go to games in the Polo Grounds. And I'm sure.
That's right. What am I thinking? He played New York.
I mean, I'm sure he saw Mathewson, but a funny story that was passed along to me from my grandfather before he passed was my great grandfather was coming from a game with, I guess, my great great grandmother or father, and they were walking outside of the Polo Grounds, and there was a bar across the street, and there was a ball player getting kicked out of the bar, and the ball player's name is Buggs Raymond. Buggs Raymond, who I think was part of the Roger Bresnahan trade to the Cardinals. They got Buggs Raymond, who was even though he was a raging alcoholic, had so much potential and was such a big prospect, and McGraw really wanted him to solidify that rotation because it was at the time it must have been. I don't know if it was Marquard, Mathewson, or Mathewson, Marquard, and now you introduced Buggs Raymond, or if it was still McGinnity was on the team. But McGraw wanted to keep Buggs Raymond in line and said, "You got to keep your alcoholism in check. I'm going to hold you to it." But it just got too out of control and couldn't handle anymore. And Raymond just had an ultimatum and he was like, "I'm just going to go drink for the rest of my life." And so anyway, going back to the story, my great grandfather, as a kid, saw Bugs Raymond getting kicked out of the bar in his walking out in cleats on the
That's
sidewalk.
hilarious.
So I have Bugs Raymond's T206 card for that very reason.
Cool.
But yeah, it's just fun. I drive past where the Polo Grounds once sat almost every day, so it's on my way home. So it's always a thrill to kind of relive that every day.
Right. That's cool.
Mhm.
Well, you mentioned, or Don, you mentioned that one of Sammy's focuses to your collection is Tom Seaver. So
Mhm.
since we're a little bit more than halfway, I have a couple trivia questions
Oh boy.
related to Tom Seaver.
Oh, good, because I have 2 Willie Mays ones. So
Perfect.
I'm gonna
So,
fail.
Sammy, you are really under the gun here
I'm gonna fail.
to see what you can come up with. All right. So, my first question, and this they may be easy. I'm not sure, but since I started the conversation here talking about my son going into the Army, Tom served in the military. Which branch did he serve in?
you got a chance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some options here.
Yep.
So he's from California. Oh man. Something's all right, hold on. I'm gonna go on a limb here because I want this. I'm leading to thinking he was a Marine, but I'm guessing.
You're right.
Yeah, something kind of
Yep, in
told
the
me.
Marines. And but now again, I'm going off of this website here, but it says he credits the training with strengthening his legs, which made him such an effective pitcher, along with his pinpoint control. All right, so he was proud to be a Marine. Now, the second question is, what Major League Baseball team originally drafted Tom
Oh,
Seaver?
I know this.
I know this one too.
And then there's a sort of a background story.
Okay,
that
I know who it is.
I recently read something about this. And I know it wasn't the Mets,
Nope.
obviously. Oh my God, who was it? Can you give me for whether it was American League or National League?
National League.
National.
Okay, give me a second here. See, at the time it would make sense because he was out in California. It would make sense it would be a California team, but I don't think it was. Man, I should know this. It's not the Giants, was it?
No.
Okay,
No.
hold on. Okay, it wasn't the Giants.
I'm saying no, but watch my answer be wrong.
And it wasn't the Cardinals.
No.
All right, yeah, go ahead and tell me.
I think it's the Braves.
Yes. The Atlanta Braves.
Okay.
It was
here's
something
the-
like
here's the
it wasn't
background.
legal or something. Or...
Yes, here's the background story on how he got to the Mets. So he was originally drafted by the Braves and actually signed a contract with them. The contract was voided by then Commissioner William Eckert due to NCAA rules where he played with Fresno. So you had the California connection right there.
Yeah. Mhm.
The determination was to have a lottery, which included the Philadelphia Phillies, Mets, and Cleveland Indians, who matched the original offer of the Braves. The Braves were excluded because they broke the rules. The Mets won the lottery, quickly signed him, and reaped the reward of signing their most dominant pitcher. So that's how Tom Seaver became a Met.
Mm.
Interesting story. I hadn't known that. So
yeah, I knew there was a story behind it. I couldn't remember, and I knew it was the Braves, obviously, but didn't know why.
Yep.
That is a good story. I knew he wasn't drafted by the Mets originally, but I just couldn't remember which team. And usually at the time with people, with players being in certain territories, scouts from that area would get to them first. But I mean, you look at players like Nolan Ryan. I mean, Nolan Ryan was in Texas. The spread was that far. So,
Well, the Pirates actually gave Sandy Koufax a tryout, and they gave him a contract. And I forget, I'll have to look it up now. But there's a story why he signed with the Dodgers over the Pirates.
Mm.
I don't know if the Pirates screwed up. I think they might have been too late on getting him the contract or something like that. And he signed the Dodgers one first, or don't quote me on that. That might not be the exact story, but it's something like that.
So what are your
Okay.
questions?
One I think you're going to get. The other
Oh.
one I'll give you a lot of clues on because I don't think
Okay.
you'll get it. So who did Willie Mays get his first hit off of? This is a two-part question.
Warren Spahn.
Who, that's correct. Who did he hit the most home runs off of
Ooh.
in his career?
Well, tell me, obviously, National League. Is it another Hall of Famer?
It is a Hall of Famer.
Okay. I got to go through the Rolodex in my head now.
Left-handed. I'll give you another clue. Left-handed.
Ooh,
Left-handed. Oh, man.
left-handed.
It's not also Warren Spahn.
Yes, it is. Correct. So that was the one I figured you'd get. And then
Okay.
the other thing I read, a very famous Hall of Famer introduced Willie Mays to his second wife. You know who that is?
A famous, another Hall of Famer introduced him to his second wife.
Might not necessarily be a baseball Hall of Famer, though.
See, I've watched that. I mean, I've watched a bunch of Willie Mays documentaries, and this is something that probably came up in it.
I'll give you, he played for a team in Philadelphia and a team in Los Angeles.
Team in Philadelphia and team in Los Angeles. Oh, man. Oh, okay. That kind of gives it away to me, I think. Will Chamberlain.
Correct.
Yeah. As soon as you said Philly and yeah. That's
yeah,
like
if I
that.
didn't give you clues on that one, you could have been guessing for days.
Oh, yeah.
People.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's, yep. Well, I mean, Wilt did know a lot of women, so.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yep.
Those are good ones. Yeah.
With the last 20 minutes or so, 15, 20 minutes so we have here.
Mhm.
Our previous guests, I'm sure, from time to time have sold some of their cards, maybe to just get rid of, pare down their collection or sell cards to buy a bigger card. But maybe not so much now. But in some years past, you were on sort of both sides of the collecting world, where you had your own collection, but you also sold cards, set up at shows and stuff. I think pre-recording here, you said you haven't been doing that as much lately, but maybe talk to us about, because I'm interested in learning like what the differences in mindset when you're maybe picking up cards and you're looking at it as inventory versus your own personal collection, and different thought processes of picking cards, or what it's like even just selling cards at a show.
Yeah. Picking up for my collection is, I'm very particular. Certain things have to kind of strike me. So, just I'm looking around the room right now, and I mean, it's not just cards; it's random objects that, I mean, like the Milk Dud box, the Transagram box. So it really kind of that kind of expands out a little bit. So I like those unique and rarity stuff that you just don't see too often. So picking up for that, when it comes to buying stuff like that, that's tougher to find. Um, I try to set myself up to be able to pay a certain value on it that I think I'm happy with and the dealer's happy with. And sometimes I'll get a better deal, and sometimes the dealer will get a better deal. That's just the way it goes. When it comes to, like, when I was setting up at shows and buying for inventory, a lot of the times that would come from a dealer that I've worked with in the past on certain things. And generally, that's always buying in bulk. So when you buy in bulk, you'll ultimately kind of get a better deal that way. That generally works out. And you got people coming up to the table that I've, after so many times being at a certain show, I'll have people saying, "Hey, I have these cards that we've worked in the past, and I feel like you and I can work out a deal," and generally it always works out. So. Yeah, that's kind of been the way. I mean, there have been times where I will find opportunities for singles that I'll see at shops that are really good prices, and flea markets that I go to, where I'll find, like, I found a cellar pack of 1981 tops, and one had Dave Winfield on the front, and one had Ricky Henderson on there, which was really cool.
Mhm.
So just I mean, really for inventory, you just kind of go to play. You have to really kind of just um, I guess you like grind it, be a grinder, and just go to any possible place, tag sales and flea markets, garage sales and shows and shops, and you just over time you just kind of develop a rotation.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I like you mentioned, I've stopped doing that for quite some time, and I'm kind of glad to be honest
Yeah.
because it's so
Really?
tiring. It's exhausting.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of work involved. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I've never done it, but I would just imagine that there's a lot because again, you gotta, as you said, grind. You gotta buy the cards at the right price for you to then to be able to make some money. Because even if you list it, you're gonna get buyers doing the same thing that you would if you were
Mhm.
collecting. Try to get that seller down. So you got to price it in such a or buy it in such a way where and so you you got to really work on buying at the right price and
Right.
then being able to sell and give yourself just a little bit of margin then to recoup and stuff like that. When you had the display cases, was it a mixture of graded, ungraded? Was it mainly graded, or what was there a
Yeah,
mix? Or,
so I would say majority of it was raw. So for me, I was the type of seller that would focus on Hall of Fame singles.
okay,
Um, and at one point, I was a person that you can go to for commons as well. Like I had boxes and boxes of commons, but it's when it comes to the common stuff, it just becomes so challenging to have to price everything out,
Eh,
and you have to come up with a range because
yeah,
at that point, it's
Yeah.
impossible to start pricing every single
oh yeah,
common.
Right.
So I gave up on that, and I commend all like some of the big dealers that are able to do it, but that just comes with experience. So,
yeah,
like for example, Stan, who I interviewed yesterday, um, Stan does it. He has both an incredible display of singles and has an absorbent amount of commons. And his from I'm just sure from his experience of being a dealer for over 10 years, he's kind of come to a system that works for him to be able to do both. So it's a challenge, but yeah, for me, singles are a lot easier. They're always going to be more demanding, in my opinion. And for me, I was buying kind of more low to mid grade stuff, and so I would attract those types of collectors.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would never really have anything above a 5 or a 6. That just
Yeah, well, that also, the obviously the more higher end stuff that you get, you got to outlay more money, and it just becomes a lot bigger financial
yeah.
burden, both buying the inventory and then hopefully you can sell it. That if you're in that middle ground, I think there are more collectors in that middle ground than ones that are, walking around looking to spend $5,000 on a card. So,
Yeah, but I mean, the grind too, it's not only finding the cards and the money. Like, and Stan said this, I don't know how he does it, to be honest, because you guys all have regular jobs during the week. Then the weekend, so your evenings are spent, like he said, pricing it or putting it all together. Then you do the show on the weekend, and then Monday you're back at work. You're not getting a break. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
you're not getting a day off at all. It's like I can see where that gets very taxing after a while.
and I can't
Yeah.
even imagine buying like collections. Like, I mean, there's some out there that will buy, maybe not huge collections, but small, medium-sized collections of
Mhm.
good stuff that has bad stuff in it as well. And then how do you go through all that?
And
And I
and
mean,
it feels like if to get the good stuff, you've got to be set up at shows.
yeah,
I've
Mhm.
never set up a show, but it just from what I hear, it just seems like that's where people bring the cars to you that they're looking to sell.
So yeah, like a good example of somebody that does this very well is Brian B. Roth.
Hmm.
yeah,
Um, he he sets up. He has a busy month this month. So he was at the White Plains show last week and Philly show a couple weeks before, and this Sunday he's at a show out in Brooklyn, and that I'll be going to check out. Um, and so he has a strategy that works for him really well, and I think for those guys like Stan and they've built up such a strong reputation where they have routine collectors coming to them with stuff,
Right.
And they also have other dealers that they've worked with for so long that have stuff that they want for their collections. And, if part of that deal includes ending up with a duplicate of a card that you already have, that's perfect inventory right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Now, Brian, he doesn't do that full time, does
he
Yeah, he
he?
does.
does.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
does. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought he mentioned something about that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's one of I would say on the younger side of dealers in this sphere.
Yeah.
Garrett is also brand new with Ballpark Memories. I mean, if you saw the video that I posted today on the Four Collectors, he showcased an incredible array of cards, like a dandy Mantle and like a high grade Gibson rookie. I mean, it's just out of this world. And he's 3 years in, and he's already reaching these heights, which is phenomenal. I keep telling him, I said, you're going to be the guy in 20 or 30 years where
Yeah.
you're going to be on that level with Stan and Ash, and you're going to
Yeah.
be that guy that we're all going to be going to. So
Right.
Yeah. 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 I'll definitely have to check that video out.
he's setting up for the first time not the first time ever, but first time at Strongsville, which is a huge deal.
I was going to
Okay.
say that's impressive that he was able to get into that show.
Yeah, he I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't ask him about that process, but um, it might be his influence on the channel with on Facebook. He's always
Right.
he goes everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's one area you mentioned Facebook that I still haven't, and I don't know if either one of you had. I'm sure maybe you have, Sammy. I'm not sure about you, Don, but have you ever bought cards off of from Facebook groups
sure.
and
Mhm.
stuff?
Oh yeah.
I just haven't done that yet, and I don't know why I'm necessarily hesitant to do it, but it's just I don't get on there very often, but sometimes I just explore and stuff like that, and I just because there's this one guy who I've sort of connected with. He lets my Wade Boggs posts, even though getting into vintage, and he does some weekly sales or different things, and I just haven't taken the plunge yet. I don't know why. It's not, but
Yeah, I've never had any issues with it.
yeah,
I think you got to be smart about it. You see who's on there a lot, and if they're putting the dates and things like that on the cards.
Mhm.
I don't have any issues buying on it. For me, I've tried selling on there, and there's so many people on it, it gets pushed down really fast.
mm,
Sometimes it feels like, and so I haven't had a great traction on that
Mhm.
part of
yeah,
it.
Yeah, it's and you can always ask for vouchers as well. And there's a lot of us are in those groups. So like Don, myself, and Brian, and
Yeah.
a lot of people. Jake.
Yeah. And I've noticed, like you've done it a few times, Sammy. I posted a
Mhm.
card, and you're like, Don's a great guy.
Yep.
Don, he's good,
Mhm.
and I've always appreciated that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, John, if there's any sort of apprehension, I mean, the easiest thing to do in that situation to kind of ease that up is if you're buying something, pay with goods and services that
Yeah.
you're clear. Like even
yeah,
if the person's a scammer, you'll end up getting your money back because yeah, it's that protects you.
yeah. Well, that's good to know. There's this one guy that keeps popping up. He's always buying. I forget the guy's name, but he's in one of the vintage Facebook groups, and it seems like almost maybe not on a weekly basis. He's always posting um, some pickups and hey, for the next my next sale on Sunday or whatever it is, here's some of the inventory. And unfortunately, it's always like super nice stuff. Like it's either if it's some mid or low grade, it's the 52 Mays, you know,
Mhm.
or if it's a oh hey I may need this 67 card, it's in an 8. I'm like I don't need, so it's either, I mean it's nice stuff. So he's sort of in that level. I look at it quick and go, well that, oh yep, no, that grade's too high, that's out of my price range and stuff. So he always has nice inventory, and I think he does fairly well.
Mhm.
I think, I'm from my understanding, he has a good reputation. Unfortunately, I forget who he is. But yeah, I always look at those. I always see those posts, and well, maybe let me see what he has. And so I'll look at the picture and I'm like, that's out of my league. Yeah.
You never know. I mean, I don't know what the cards are, but if are they like, is it mostly top stuff or is it?
No, I mean he'll do it's mainly vintage baseball, although he'll have some maybe 70s, football, and then some basketball, and then he'll like he'll have like 4 or 5 pictures of his latest pickups or what is going to be for the next sale. And he always starts off with the old vintage, then he gets into maybe some 60s and 70s, then you start getting into a couple other sports, and he'll have a few maybe even some 80s and 90s cards, and then throw in a couple modern. So he tries to get a decent mix.
Gotcha.
Doesn't
Again, nice
Ash's?
inventory.
Oh, I'm sorry, John. Doesn't Ash's son post on there a lot?
Yeah, I've seen him post on there.
It very well
He's
could be
got a lot
him.
of
I
high-end
wish I
stuff on
could
there.
remember what the guy's name is, but yeah, maybe it you know what it may have been, because I mean, like I said, it's really nice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be possible.
Yeah, it's good variety. There's so many groups as well. So, and there's a lot of overlap in these groups.
And from what I can tell, there's a lot of self-policing
Oh,
with these moderators of these groups, that if it's found out that, hey, so and so didn't hold up to their end of the deal, or did this or did that, they can get kicked out of the group and things like. So there's a lot of, I mean, even within the comments, hey, stop it with the comments of this, whatever, and there's certain rules that within the group in general. So I think like the administrators try to do a good job of having people that sell on there have some sort of.
I got called out one time because I didn't read the fine print that you're only allowed to post twice a day.
Oh.
And I posted like 5 or 6 or something, and some guy called
That's
me.
innocent. That's an innocent mistake. That's an honest mistake.
I was like, sorry, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
You're flooding us with too many cards.
Really.
It happens. Not a big deal.
No.
Yeah. It's furthest from it.
So yeah, really looking forward to Strongsville. I think this will probably be our last 2 guys, 1 hobby. I don't think we need to rush or press to get something out prior to Strongsville. I have an idea on who may be the next guest. We'll have to work on scheduling and stuff like that, but could be a good guest as well. Anything else, Sammy, that you want to wrap up, or we maybe didn't get to? We still have some time to discuss some stuff, or?
No, man. This has been great, man. I appreciate you guys inviting me. I had a lot of fun discussing and reminiscing a little bit about some old music days. Thanks,
absolutely.
Don, for that up.
that was a nice surprise, Don. Yeah,
that was that was good to see that resurface. So
always looking out for our guests.
Good Mardi Gras days, man. Oh, wish.
Yeah.
Did I learn something new? I had no idea you lived down there. So
oh yeah,
cool.
I miss.
Yeah, I've been down to New Orleans twice for business, and it's the second time I took my wife, and it was an eye opener for her. And I was walking around, she's like, I'm like, yeah, that's just don't pay attention. It's like.
You had really dark sunglasses on, so she couldn't see where your eyes were going, right, John?
Yeah,
it's a great city.
But the people down there, they're some of them are wild.
I want to go try the food. That's all I hear is how amazing the food is down there.
So if you ever go, I mean, there's like Commander's Palace, and you'll hear of like Cafe du Monde. Exactly. Here you go, man. You get the beignets.
I just realized what I was drinking from. So,
but the one place I'd recommend going to, it's not in the heart of like the French Quarter. You have to go further, the uptown neighborhood of New Orleans, which is where I used to live. That area, they have a place called Jacquemo's, and you can't make a reservation. You just have to go and try to get there when they open, because they have lines going out the door.
Oh, really?
And it is comfort, good old comfort Cajun Louisiana food. And Jacquemo's, I think it's like Jocamos. Something Jacquemo's, yeah. And yeah, it was great. I mean, my wife and I, we had Giacomo's cater our rehearsal dinner when we got married down there. So that was
Okay.
it's good stuff, man.
Oh,
Good
I have
stuff.
to get down there.
I'm not going to remember the street name, but beyond the center of the town there, if you go out, if you keep going out the main street, you'll get to a section that has a lot of bars and music. It's I'm trying to think, and there's decent restaurants there. And
was this like? I mean, there's Bourbon Street, obviously.
right, I think if you keep heading out Bourbon Street, and then you go off the sub, and it's almost like not parallel but perpendicular, and
Yeah.
lots of little bars and restaurants, and it's just a really nice. It's a walk. It's probably like 2 miles or something. It seems like, but it's
that area. So you have Royal Street, which is parallel, and then you have Decatur. Decatur is a big street. Decatur has tons of restaurants and bars.
Yep.
And then you have the French Market, which is right over there where Cafe Du Monde is located.
Yes.
And then the River Walk is right there. So yeah, and then Jackson Square. Jackson Square is a big site, and but there's tons of restaurants in that area. And
but not even that. I'm talking about outside. I don't know if it's east, west, north, or south or something, but from Bourbon Street, where the other streets are, I guess, south of it. If you just head out, just keep walking past where like all the lights and stuff, and you're almost getting back into a residential district, just houses.
Right. So
when you keep walking, there's and I forget the name of it, but I remember from the first time I was there, and I told my wife, we need to walk out. We need to go down this way. And she's like, where are we walking? I'm like, trust me. And I went, and then it's like a whole nother active area where it's just one main street, but lots of cool restaurants with live music and stuff. And yeah.
So there's
a really neat section to get away from. Yeah.
So Bourbon Street is one side of it. There's one street called Canal. That's a very busy area, but that's more like very touristy.
Yes.
And the other side of Bourbon where it ends is it's Esplanade. I think Esplanade is the other end of it. And then if you go past Esplanade, you get into what's called the Marigny. And the Marigny is a neighborhood that has, again, a lot of restaurants, but it is very residential.
Yeah.
So that has one street in particular that has a lot of bars and restaurants called Frenchman.
Yes, and that may be it.
Yeah, Frenchman has a lot of music venues, a lot of bars, tattoo shops where I've gotten a lot of my tattoos from.
Yeah. So I think that's where I went, and it was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's developing. I mean, it's still developing more. But if you even go further down from there, you get into what's the name of that neighborhood? It's there's the Marigny. Maybe it is just all the Marigny, but there's a great place all the way down in the far end of New Orleans before the city ends, where they have it's like an outdoor jazz bar, like a wine bar, but you can buy beer and food there, and you sit outside on a good day, man, and you hear some good jazz music. It goes a long way.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, see, here you go. We always say that these shows here, we get off on different topics and stuff. We start off with Strongsville. We talked about selling and dealing, and we end up talking about New Orleans of all things. So that's the diversity you get here with two guys, one hobby. Well, Sammy, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy.
It's been a great time.
Great having you.
And thank you guys.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you, both you, Sammy, and Dawn at Strongsville, as well as all the other YouTubers that are expected to join. I know it's going to be just a great time. Whatever I get, even if I don't find anything, it's just going to be a great time. Looking forward to it, and who knows what's going to happen with me for Trade Mate? You never know. I could have some stories. So again, Sammy, thanks, and we'll see all of you next time on another episode of Two Guys One Hobby.